This is gonna be really hard to talk about. I'm like actually nervous. I don't know why though. Like I'm just nervous to talk about something so personal and like raw and real, and something that's impacting my life. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will try to not make this a 30-minute long video. I have some kind of key points that I want to talk about, and yeah, what's been going on in the last couple of months with myself and my little baby girl. I also have a huge cup of coffee. It's like literally, not really the size. I have a big head, so it's not really the size of my head, but it's a big cup of coffee. And it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so mom life, gotta have my coffee. I just want to sit down and, I don't know why this is so nerve-wracking. I just want to sit down and talk with you guys about my breastfeeding journey and what's been happening. I'm sure you guys can already guess by the title of this video that my breastfeeding journey has not gone the way I had planned or the way that I had hoped it would go. I guess we'll just start from the beginning. I started out really liking the bond that I was having with Charlie when I was breastfeeding her. So we started out having some latch issues. She had lost 9% of her body weight in the first couple of days, and I understand that it's very normal for a baby to lose up to 10% of their body weight. Anywhere between 1 and 10 is within the normal range of weight loss with infants. And so we met with a pediatrician who wasn't going to be our permanent pediatrician. She was kind of just subbing in for the day, and she had immediately recommended that we supplement and that we use a bottle when we supplement. And we did that for a couple of days until my milk came in. And then when my milk came in, it came in freaking strong, like lots of ounces. I want to say like I was producing anywhere between 6 to 8 ounces on each side. Like I was producing a lot of milk, which I thought was great. And it was allowing me to store a freezer stash and all of that, as well as satisfying my daughter when she was hungry. But when she got off of the bottle, she was having trouble latching. Naturally, I mean, she could have been confused or whatever. So we ended up going to a lactation consultant, and I was struggling because Charlie was having troubles latching, and it was affecting me, and it was affecting my mental health, because I'm like, why, like, is this my fault? Did I do something wrong? Basically just basically blaming myself that she couldn't latch. But it was incredible because the lactation consultant was able to help me get her to latch in her office, like in that very moment. And I started crying, and like it almost makes me emotional just thinking about that day, because it was just an amazing experience being able to see her. Okay guys, sorry, my camera battery just died, so I had to go charge it really quick. So if the lighting is off, that is why. So when we were with the lactation consultant and Charlie latched, it was an extremely emotional moment for me, just because that's all I've ever wanted to do, was to be able to provide for my child in that way. In that sense, I wanted to be the one that would feed her. I feel like also like just society tells you that that's the right way to feed your child, is through breastfeeding. And so that really just kind of stuck with me, and I was like very boneheaded and stubborn, and was like, this is the only way that I'll be feeding my child. So we left that appointment with a little bit more confidence, both Charlie and I. And you know, she was latching just fine after that, and she was feeding great. I could tell that she was satisfied after every feeding, and she's got like a great milk drunk face. I'll put a picture right up here. It's the funniest face in the world. So after I hit about a month and a half, 2 months postpartum, my milk supply dropped like insanely, an insane amount, going from 6 to 8 ounces to 1 to 2 ounces on each side tops. Like, it was drastic. And I would continue to try to feed her, and I could tell that she wasn't getting that cute little milk jug face anymore. I could just tell she wasn't satisfied, and she was getting very frustrated. She would tense up and kind of like stretch her legs out and her stomach out, and she would just start screaming. She's like me, where she gets really hot very easily and just really red in the face, and it was just really frustrating for both her and I. And of course, you know, I was so patient, you know, and just I would take her off and kind of just relax and calm her down, because I didn't want her to think that my boob was like a negative thing. Like, I didn't want that to happen. I wanted her to understand that that's the way that she gets milk, and it should be a positive thing. So I would try to take her off and just kind of let her relax and then try again. And you guys, I can't tell you how many times I attempted, like in the middle of the night or throughout the day, and it was eating at me, and I would start crying because I'm like, what is happening? And like, I could tell she was starting to refuse me, like my boobs, and like she was preferring the bottle over me, which was, it killed me. And I don't know if this like sounds really dramatic or like stupid to a lot of you, because it's like, Taylor, like, who cares? Just like feed her a bottle, or like feed her formula. It's not that big of a deal. But, and I'm not one to like I'm usually a very happy person, and I'm not one to have like a negative impact on my mental health, I guess is the right way to say it. You know, I think I was down a little bit towards the end of my pregnancy, just because it was getting really difficult, and I really couldn't do much at that point. So I was pretty down about myself then, but like not to the point where like I was depressed or anything. And I don't think I'm depressed now. It's not that. It's just I have a very strong emotional attachment to breastfeeding, I guess. So it was just eating at me, knowing that she was preferring the bottle over me, but at the same time, seeing her face when she was drinking out of the bottle and I was holding her, I could tell that we were having a better connection. Like, we were bonding more so than we were when I was breastfeeding her this past month. It was just a very frustrating, overwhelming experience versus when I'm just holding her and cuddling her and she's drinking out of a bottle. As I was like scrolling through YouTube and reading different moms' blogs and stuff like that, you know, there's a lot of moms that have such a great experience with breastfeeding, and that's all I've ever wanted. And it's to me, it's like, if they can do it, why can't I do it type thing, you know? Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not able to provide for my child, but they are? And mind you, like, I've tried everything. Like, you know, I'm currently on breastfeeding supplements. You know, I've done the certain type of foods that they recommend you eat for breastfeeding. I've done the power pumping, the power feeding, the skin to skin, like all of that. And it was like, it was consuming me. It was consuming my life, and it was all I can think about. Like, okay, like I need a pump or I need to breastfeed. And when it was time to do either of those things, I dreaded it. Like, you guys, I dreaded breastfeeding my child. Like, that just shouldn't be a thing. Like, that just shouldn't be an emotion, or I shouldn't be dreading, but like, breastfeeding my child, like, what? You know, I've had multiple moms tell me, like, don't give up, just keep going, because it is a hard journey, and you don't think about that when you either don't have a kid or you're pregnant, and you think, you know, I thought it was going to be natural, like it was just going to come natural. And for some moms it does, but for most moms it's a challenging journey, and a lot of moms get through it, and then a lot of moms just like it kind of eats at their mental health. But like, I haven't seen enough stories out there or videos or blogs or anything that kind of relate to my story. I see a few, but not a lot, and that's one of the reasons why I am putting this video out there. It's hard for me to explain it because, plain and simple, it's affected my mental health pretty intensely, and it was just something that I was just being so hard on myself for. Like, I can't I'm not providing enough for my child. This wasn't the way I thought it was going to go. I didn't think that I wasn't going to enjoy breastfeeding. I want to put this out there because I know that there are some moms out there who struggle with breastfeeding, who struggle with low supply and stuff like that, and I just want to kind of like say that you're not alone. And you know, some moms don't have that emotional connection and can just like switch to a bottle and be totally fine, and like you guys are freaking strong as hell, because like I would break down if she wouldn't like latch on me or she wouldn't breastfeed. Like I remember one night Lucas was sleeping and it was the middle of the night, and I was trying to feed her, and she was just crying and like tensing up and getting so red in the face, and I just started bawling because I'm just like, what is happening? I wish that I was explaining this better. I feel like I'm not. I feel like this is like all over the place, but I hope that you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from. So what we have implemented so far in both my routine and Charlie's routine as far as feeding goes, she is still taking some of my breast milk. I'm still pumping, you know, whatever I can. Just trying to give her what I can as far as my milk supply goes. But she is drinking out of a bottle. And I have to say, like, the more that I do it each day, it's definitely making me happier. My love for Charlie grows so much every single day, and taking out something that was causing us both to be very frustrated and just very emotionally drained, taking that out and just switching to a bottle has helped just like our relationship, and just, you know, just like you wouldn't think that when it's like, oh, you're just feeding your child, but no, it's like, it's so much more than that. Like when I see her look up at me smiling while I'm feeding her, like it makes me feel like I'm doing a good job no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's a boob or a bottle, like I'm still feeding my child. That's where like society has just like ruined us in certain ways. Like people tell you, you know, definitely breastfeed. Are you breastfeeding? Make sure you're breastfeeding. Like she needs the breast milk. It's really good for her. It'll keep her from getting sick, blah, 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 blah. It's like, wouldn't it just be better to just encourage the moms out there to take care of their mental health, and whatever helps her, if that's bottle feeding or if that's breastfeeding, then that's what they should do. Because I don't think a lot of people put two and two together. Like that's all a mom wants, is for their baby to be happy and healthy and satisfied and fulfilled, and by doing that it's feeding them. So whatever that is, if it's formula or if it's breast milk, I finally like started getting emotionally detached slowly and surely every single day, and now it's like it's just been a great experience. And I just want to encourage other moms out there that it's okay if you don't breastfeed. Like it's totally fine. Like if you're feeding your child, I mean, that's all that matters. So I don't understand why there's the stigma out there that you have to breastfeed your child. And I would just, for all the moms out there who are pregnant or are trying to become a mom, and you want to breastfeed, just go into it with like an open mind. Don't go into it like I did, where it was just like, no, I need to breastfeed. I'm going to be breastfeeding. This is how long I'm going to be breastfeeding for. This is how many times I'm gonna breastfeed a day. Blah, blah, blah. Like, don't go into it like I did. Go into it with an open mind. If your child is great at feeding on your boob, that's freaking amazing, and you should pat yourself on the back. That's so great. If your supply starts dropping and you don't know what to do, like, just don't freak out like I did. You know, do your research. I think that's the big thing. Like, do your research. But if you start to notice that it's consuming your mental health and your just everyday life, like, then don't do it. I mean, plain and simple, just don't do it. There's so many moms out there who have told me that their kid has never been sick and they've been on formula, or they rarely get sick and they've been on formula, or they're super happy and they're growing and they're healthy and they're on formula. Like, so why are we not just encouraging moms to just feed? just feed their child. Like, fed is best, in my opinion. So that is kind of why I wanted to come on here and just kind of sit down and talk to you guys. I hope that I didn't bore any of you. I know it's kind of a odd topic to talk about, but I just kind of wanted to be open and share my struggles, because as much as I wanted this to be a perfect journey for me, it's definitely so far from perfect. And I'm very happy to say that I was able to breastfeed my child for 2 months, and I'm proud of my body. I'm proud of what it has done for my child, and you know, it's carried her for 9 months and given her so many nutrients and everything that she needs. So being able to breastfeed her for 2 months, I'm so happy with that. And now her and I can close that chapter. Whew, I'm gonna get emotional. It's almost like emotional in a good way. Like, it's a good thing. It really is. And it makes me so happy to see her happy. And feeding her now is like, it's great. Her and I just have the best bond. Like, she's like, she looks like Lucas, but she's my little mini me. Like, she's just the best human on this planet. And putting my mental health as a priority was probably one of the best things I could have done. Even if it's not like related to breastfeeding and you're still struggling with your mental health postpartum, like, please talk about it. Like, get it out there. Talk to your mom friends, like, talk to a counselor, talk to your doctor, like, talk to any, like, just talk about it, because it's so like pushed to the back burner, because obviously, like, your kid is like everyone's main topic of discussion, and the moms are kind of just pushed to the back. And I think that it almost needs to be like equal. We go through a lot as women, and we go through a lot when we're pregnant and when we have kids, and as moms we just go through a lot. So it's good to talk about, and I'm so grateful that you guys were able to listen to me just rant about my journey. I really do appreciate it. I highly encourage any of you moms that are watching this to please comment down below and talk about your struggles, and maybe other moms can relate. I just think it needs to be a discussion. It just needs to be talked about. So I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. Make sure to give it a huge thumbs up if you liked it. Again, comment down below, and make sure to hit that little subscribe button that I just added down at the corner. That way you guys can see more of my videos and all about my mom life. So anyway, thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.